In today's video, we're taking a look at some NHL rumors concerning some KHL players who may be coming over to sign with NHL hockey clubs. Plus, we have some other NHL prospects that have signed contracts with their affiliated NHL teams. And we have some news concerning the draft lottery as well. We'll jump into all the latest news coming up next. So welcome back to another video here at Top Shelf Hockey. Now, as I mentioned, we have a variety of news and rumors to discuss here today, and I want to kick things off with some news on the NHL Draft Lottery. Now, of course, we don't yet know exactly when this is going to take place, because we don't know exactly yet when the NHL season is going to be considered complete, at least from a regular season standpoint, which determines at least the first half of the draft order, which is the part of the teams that go into the lottery, the non-playoff teams, as we say. So there's still a lot of information that's not yet available, but one piece of information that's been discussed between the NHL, the PA, and all the different teams around the league is what kind of format should they be going with? Should there be any changes? And the general consensus, according to several NHL insiders, is that right now they're not leaning towards making any changes towards the format. So basically what I would expect to happen would be that if they don't complete the regular season, they'll go by the standings now, probably do like a point percentage base, so they'll prorate things to make all the teams even and consider the draft order that way. Or if they are able to play any NHL regular season games, of course, they will factor those in and see. But obviously right now it's kind of unclear how this is going to work because we don't know when NHL hockey can resume. But if the NHL regular season cannot be completed, and if they're either able to skip right to a playoff round, or if nothing happens at all, I would not expect there to really be anything significant or drastically altered to the current format of how the draft lottery works. So anybody who's fans of teams that were near the bottom and had excellent odds at drafting first overall, I don't expect there to be anything really altered with the current format. So you can rest assured that's likely going to be the case here moving forward. So we'll update you further once we know more news, but of course there won't be a whole lot to discuss until we actually know when the NHL hockey can come back. Now, as I mentioned, we have some signings to discuss here as well today. The St. Louis Blues have signed one of their top prospects, left-shot defenseman Scott Perunovich, who's been playing for the University of Minnesota Duluth. He was originally a 2018 second-round selection. Been playing college hockey ever since. He's put up some pretty solid numbers. He had 40 points this past year in 34 games. It's expected to be one of the contenders for the Hobey Baker Trophy award this year. He's an undersized defenseman, about 5'9", but he's incredibly talented when it comes to skating and offense. So certainly another very interesting prospect. If you followed our prospect series that we usually do every NHL offseason, you would have seen that he's a player we talked about for the Blues last summer. Certainly one of their higher regarded prospects in their system, especially on the back end right now. So that's some good news for the Blues that he'll be leaving college, signing his pro contract, and we'll see where he goes next season. Considering the depth on the blue line right now for the Blues, it's pretty safe to say he'll likely start with the American Hockey League. But if he continues to put up numbers at the AHL like he did in college, then I would expect it won't be too long before he gets a crack at the NHL. Now, another big signing as well, the Anaheim Ducks have signed their 2019 first-round selection, taking 9th overall, Travor Zegras. He was playing at Boston University. Many suspected he likely would play 1 year of college hockey, then turn pro. No big surprise that this contract signing is completed right now. Had a pretty solid year at Boston University. He put out 36 points in 33 games this past year, so for a first-year player, that's certainly pretty solid. Had an outstanding tournament for Team USA at the World Juniors, even though the U.S. as a team had a pretty disappointing tournament. He was certainly their standout player, in my opinion, putting up 9 points in 5 games. Was an excellent playmaker, excellent vision, great passer. This guy really is an extremely talented hockey player. The Anaheim Ducks are very fortunate to get him, especially where they're starting to go through a bit of a rebuild and a retool here right now. Starting transition from some of their older star players that have been there a long time, like we saw Corey Perry depart. Ryan Getzlaf's down to his final year of his contract, and I think Zegras very well could be their future top line center. If you take a look at a lot of the other prospects we've seen emerge and get some time with the Ducks over the last 1 or 2 years, that includes guys like Sam Steele and Max Jones, Maxime Comtois, Troy Terry. For the most part, they're all pretty decent, solid hockey players, but in my opinion, Zegras is a step above all of them and certainly has the possibility to be their future #1 top line center iceman. So great news for the Ducks. Be interested to see how he gets started and where he fits in with their team come next season. Now, as I mentioned as well, we have some NHL rumors regarding some KHL players. Now, the KHL has officially canceled the remainder of their playoffs. Their season is now officially over, and we did get clarification that their players who are becoming free agents are not eligible to sign any contracts. I believe it was the end of April or May the 1st is the official first day when KHL free agency technically gets underway, and there's many of those players, especially ones with previous NHL experience, and some younger intriguing players looking to make the jump to North America as well, including 21-year-old goaltender Alexei Melnichuk. Now, he's an interesting goaltending prospect who's played the past couple of years with SKA St. Petersburg. Now, he hasn't played the entire season at the KHL level, spent time in the past couple of years at the VHL, which is the Russian lower league level, kind of like the American Hockey League version, if you would, for the NHL over in Russia. And he's put up staggering numbers at both levels. And he has the potential to be another great Russian goalie prospect coming out of that league to jump over to North America. Hard to say. It's a little bit early yet to compare him to some of the other guys we've seen come over recently. But it certainly has great potential. This past year, he put up some staggering numbers during his 16 games at the KHL level, with a .930 save percentage and a 1.68 goals against average. Now, keep in mind as well, the KHL tends to be a lower scoring league than the NHL, so as impressive as those stats are, certainly more difficult to continue them at the NHL. But either way, it's this goaltender is apparently rumored to have 3 to 4 teams heavily interested. We don't know exactly who those teams are as of yet, but it basically sounds like it's going to boil down to who's going to give them the most and fastest opportunity to play at the NHL level will determine ultimately where he signs. So I guess if you look around the NHL and determine which teams likely need goaltending help and could offer him a chance to play NHL games the quickest, can probably determine which teams are showing the most interest here. But a very intriguing prospect. We should hopefully have clarification once we get around to May 1st, if not a little bit sooner, where he's likely going to end up. Now, we also have information on another top KHL player, Alexander Barabonov, who's also been linked to the Toronto Maple Leafs as well as the Arizona Coyotes. Now, this player is somebody who's not exceptionally high on the offensive side of the game, but a very reliable two-way forward, but great speed. Of course, we've seen the Leafs have some pretty good success bringing guys over here recently like they did with Mikheyev, so not surprising they would try this again. Kyle Dubas certainly is very resourceful, finding players all over the place. Barabonov's 26 years old. He's played with Russia internationally. He's spent his time in the KHL. Like I said, on the international level especially, he's been a very versatile type of player for the Team Russia. Has been kind of up and down your lineup, can play in a variety of situations. Like I said, he's very well known for being a solid two-way player as well as having some excellent speed. So probably be like a third-line type of player, an energy guy, somebody who can kill penalties, have a little bit of offense, but kind of does all the little things right. It's kind of what he's more known for. So I guess we'll see if the Leafs, being the leading contender, are able to sign him. As we know, they are very, very limited on salary cap space. I would imagine that he would probably sign a short-term, probably one-year deal, similar to what we saw Mikheyev sign, probably somewhere between $700,000-900,000, something like that. And if he has a good season, then he'll be looking for a longer-term extension worth a little bit bigger money. So clearly, we'll see what happens here, but obviously the Leafs and Coyotes apparently are the front runners, and we should know here within the next 3 to 4 weeks where he's going to end up for next season. Let me know where you think these KHL players are going to end up as well. I'd love to know what your thoughts are down in the comments. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing and turning on your notifications so you don't miss any future content. And give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it as well. I'd appreciate it if you did. As always, thank you for watching, and I will catch you next time.